What's up everybody? My name is Dan. Welcome to Ahnestly. I took a poll recently about what type of chair you all prefer, and the vast majority of you said mesh chairs. Well, you're in luck because today I am reviewing one of the best mesh chairs I've ever reviewed. This is top number 1 or number 2 slot right next to the Herman Miller Aeron. Let's get honest. The Herman Miller Mirra 2, like with all Herman Miller chairs, comes with their excellent 12-year warranty. I say excellent because I've actually used the warranty on some of my other chairs, and the process has always been nothing short of amazing. And no, just to clarify, they did not know who I was. I mean, this channel isn't very big anyway, but yeah, there was no bias in that situation. I say that because the price of this chair is quite expensive. Now, I think the bare bones price, you can start at about $1,100–$1,200. The one that I have here is about $1,580, I believe, but the bare minimum recommendation that I have for this chair is gonna run you about $1,400 US. I'll get to all the options and which ones I recommend as I go through each individual function or part of the chair. But in terms of sizing, I am 5'6", about 173 pounds, and I am using everything on the bare minimum setting, or the very lowest setting. So in terms of chair height, this is at the lowest setting. In terms of lip, the chair lip can come up like this. I am using it in the shallowest setting. So this is kind of what it looks like, and this feels very comfortable. I do think if you're a little bit shorter, down to about 5'4", you'll find this chair to be extremely comfortable with feet flat on the ground. But if you're taller, if you're in 6 foot and above range, this again has the ability for the front lip to roll out, giving you additional leg support here. And the backrest is amazing. It's really a fantastic backrest. It's very unique, and again, I'll talk more about it in the backrest section, but because of the way it's designed and because of how tall it is, I do believe people that are 6'1", 6'2", 6'3", and perhaps even taller would really enjoy this chair. Also, the maximum weight capacity of this chair is stated to be 350 pounds, and I believe them. The mesh on this is super duper high quality, it's super taut, and I feel really well supported in this, and it doesn't feel like it's going to sag anytime soon. If you guys like chairs, desk setups, and tech, and you want to support this channel, please use my links when purchasing anything. That really helps a lot. Subscribe, like, and leave a comment, and you can also donate. All of those things really help these honest reviews continue. I really appreciate it. We'll start from the bottom and work our way up, starting with the casters. These are the dual floor casters, so hardwood and carpet. And as you can see, it slides really well on carpet. Sometimes these casters can be really tough, even on carpet, but it slides really well. And they work really well on the hard floor as well. And as you can tell, they're pretty quiet. As for the legs, I really like the design of these legs. They're flat, they're fairly wide, and they're high up, which makes it a great alternative for people who are shorter than 5'4", because I've heard that one of the biggest complaints is that they can't get their feet on the floor. And so by having it here like this, it works really nicely, especially if you get the adjustable front lip. You can go ahead and prop your feet up, and this works really nicely. When it comes to adjustments under the chair, you get 3 different options. The first is going to be the basic, and the basic basically has it so that you'll only get 2 things over here on the right side. You only get this tab, and this tab raises the height up and down, and this knob is going to control your back tilt tension. Now, if you're really on a budget and you're kind of like, dude, I want to spend as little money as possible, all you need is the basic, because this thing works in such a way that with about 10 to 15 turns, you can get the back tilt to just be rock solid. I'm pushing into it, and you can see that I'm barely able to move the chair. This is me putting a good amount of tension on my feet, and you can see that it's not moving. So if that's all you need, if you don't want to lock your chair in a certain position, this is perfect. The middle of the way is the tilt limiter option. The tilt limiter is going to get you one extra, in addition to these 2, is going to get you 1 additional tab on the left side here, and it's going to be this one in the back. And the way this works is that if I go ahead and lock it all the way up, you can tell that the chair is locked in that position. I can never go beyond it. And then you get 3 different positions. You get the upright, you get kind of in the middle, and then fully unlocked. And now that I'm fully unlocked, I can swing all the way back here. And the reason why this can be helpful is because let's say you like having the chair really loose in the unlock position for play. Well, let's say for work, you actually like to keep it in the upright. Instead of turning the knob every single time, you can just lock it up here, be in work position, and then just with the simple flick of the wrist, now you're in relax and chill mode. And then the third and highest option is the forward tilt. And the way the forward tilt is that if you lean back in your chair and you tilt this tab in the front forward, well then when you come back, the chair will be actually tilted forward. This feature does a few things. One, it's supposed to relieve pressure off of that lower back because now more of the pressure is put on your feet. And because it's kind of like, imagine like you're kind of doing like a squat where a lot of that, digging into those feet, and it actually helps you get into a more proper position like this. Leaning forward can also help with things like if you're really trying to get close to the screen for gaming or for programming or for crafts or whatever it is, this can help with that. The seat pan on this chair comes in two different options. One, it comes with the flex adjustment option, and that's what I already showed you before. There's a little tab in the front that if you grab it, you can lift it out and you get a little bit more depth out of the chair, and then you can simply, again, push it and push it down, and that's gonna give you less depth in the chair. So the ideal position of the seat, you should be able to fit 2 to 3 fingers between the back of your knee and the front of this chair. And so me having short legs, having it all the way down in the lowest position is great. And it's not just 2 positions. You can actually just raise it just a tiny bit, and it's kind of like an infinite set position where you can have it in multiple different places, including obviously all the way out for you tall freaks of nature out there. I really, really love that adjustment. This is something that is far superior to the Aeron because the Aeron is a fixed chair base width. You can't change it. If your legs are particularly short or particularly long, you can't adjust that. This is amazing, and I recommend everybody to get this option. Now, when it comes to the materials, this is using a mesh, but it seems like a different mesh than that found on the Aeron. It feels a little bit more stretchy, but it feels stretchy in the way that it kind of piles up when you sit on it like this, but it doesn't feel stretchy when you sit on it. As a matter of fact, this seat feels significantly flatter than on the Aeron, because on the Aeron, it feels a little bit more leaned back. It feels like you're kind of sitting a little more further back in the chair or leaned back in the chair compared to the Mirra 2. And if you're somebody who doesn't like leaning back into a chair, the Mirra 2 is going to be great. It is excellent. I'll get to the backrest in a minute, but it is seriously excellent for people who like to sit a little bit more upright in the chair without feeling tilted forward like you do in the Herman Miller Bantam. So yeah, this seat, really, really, really like it. And of course, because it's mesh, it's gonna help you pass all your booty juices through it. It's gonna be easier to clean. And here's one warning though, is that if you decide to get a fancy color like I did here or a bright color, I have seen pictures where it seems like the darker pants and things like that will rub off and kind of dull that sheen over time. So if you're worried about that, you might be better off going with a darker color mesh for your chair. When it comes to the edges around the chair, they are hard edges, but it's not nearly as punishing as the Aeron, because the Aeron has edges that kind of turn up. This just has hard edges, so you can actually spread your legs out a little bit and be totally fine. It's when you start getting out here that there is a little turn up, and because of that, it pushes into your calf or whatever this is, your quads a little bit. But yeah, there is much more flexibility and freedom to sit in this chair compared to the Aeron. Now, there is one con that you guys need to know about, and I think it's gonna be more relevant for these super tall freaks of nature out there, or the people who like to scooch all the way back in their chairs, which in this chair there really isn't a need to do, because again, the seat feels really good all throughout. So you can actually scooch forward just a little bit and avoid this issue, but I thought it'd be good for you all to know, and that is the fact that this seat gap back here, I wish the seat pan was a little bit further back, and because of this, if you're all the way in the back, and you tilt back a little bit, you start to feel some plastic on your booty / tailbone, and it's not the most pleasant feeling. The armrest on the Mirra 2, it's like a love and hate relationship. There are things that I really appreciate about it and things that I don't like so much. The padding on this armrest is pretty good. It's got a decent amount of give. It's not overly hard. When you rest your arms on it, it doesn't feel like it's cutting into your arm. But the design of this armrest, I personally find a little bit jarring, right? It's so rounded. When I put my arms on it, it doesn't feel super duper comfortable. It doesn't feel like they can just sit here because they're kind of sliding and moving around. When it comes to the adjustments, you get forward and back motions, you get in and out, and then you get tilt in, middle, and out. So those are the different motions, and of course you can adjust them up and down. Now, when it comes to the position of these armrests, I do wish you could slide it a little bit more forward. I like having my arms here in a static position, but you can see that it doesn't really come out that far. It can tuck really far back if you're someone who likes to have your arms further back in the chair. Now, when it comes to the height adjustment, this is something that is stellar on the Mirra 2, because look how much range you get at the lowest position, it sits lower than my thigh, and that is incredible. Like if you're somebody who likes having the armrest out of the way occasionally, this is phenomenal. Only a few Herman Miller chairs can get the armrest this low. The Herman Miller Embody and the Herman Miller Aeron, I believe, are the only other two. The Bantam, the popular chairs, the Bantam, the Sail, I don't think they go nearly as low as these armrests here. The arms come in two options, static or fully adjustable. I highly recommend everybody get the fully adjustable so you can get them just the way you like. When it comes to the back and lumbar support, I'm going to strongly recommend options here. I strongly, highly, 1000% recommend that everybody should get the butterfly suspension back. What that means is you're gonna get this thin layer of mesh that's got a bit of cushioning on it, because if you don't get this, you're gonna be sitting directly on this hard plastic rubbery thing back here. And I personally tested this version and just the standard, rubbery back here. And the rubbery back, I sat in it and I was like immediately like, wow. Relative to this, that hurts, right? And so again, I'm gonna strongly recommend everybody, if there's one upgrade you definitely need to get, it's gonna be the butterfly mesh suspension back. When it comes to the lumbar, again, I'm gonna highly, strongly recommend that everybody get the fully adjustable lumbar. Like if you get the fully adjustable lumbar and you don't get the mesh suspension back, then imagine that this hard plastic rubber thing already hurting on your back is now gonna be digging more into your back. So yeah, I think you really need to get this combination. Again, highly, highly, highly recommend that. When it comes to the backrest design, overall design, it is fantastic. Like, there have been so many complaints about people sitting in chairs like the Hayworth Fern and the Herman Miller Embody, saying like, hey, this chair is just too far leaned back in its natural state. I can tell you with 1000% confidence that the Mirra 2 is upright and in the best way possible. Like it's upright, and I think some of the danger of having an upright back is that sometimes when you pull your arms back, they will clash into the back of your chair. Like you see right here, it is crashing. But it's actually well designed that it's not crashing right away to the point where you can't really open up that chest. Like you are getting a good amount of chest spread on the back of this chair, while at the same time getting full support all the way up your back. And this is why I said this chair can be good for tall people as well, because a lot of times when you look at a chair's design, as the back gets higher, it leans back as it gets higher up. And so for tall people, when you're sitting back here and you're trying to sit straight, you find that you're just missing a lot of upper back support. But on the Mirra 2, because look at the way my back sits on this, my shoulder blades are resting comfortably on the chair, even when I'm like pulled back. And so if you're sitting someone who's taller, you're gonna find that your back is able, so I should really lock this before I hurt myself. You're gonna find that if you have a taller back, you're gonna find that you're getting even support under those lower shoulder blades up here as you're sitting taller up in the chair. Sorry, this is the best way I can do it because I'm not, 6 foot freakishly 4 or something. So I'm kidding, I love you guys. Yeah, and so if you're looking for a chair that sits upright, if you're looking for a chair where you're able to be tall and you're not missing some of that back support, man, the Mirra 2 is just really, really excellent at doing that. Now, when it comes to the lumbar support, you've got these handles here. And what they're gonna do is if you push them inward like this, oh man, the lumbar support you get is fantastic. The hard, it's not hard, but it is kind of hard. The plasticky, rubbery part, the entire back kind of like pushes you forward a little bit. You're not getting direct focused lower lumbar support like you might be getting on the Aeron, but you're getting overall good, like excellent middle back, slightly lower back support on this thing. And it just feels really, really good. Like I can't recommend enough that you get the mesh suspension butterfly back and the extra lumbar support. It just feels really, really great for people who are trying to sit upright in their chair as opposed to slightly tilted back like on some of the other chairs that are out there. Like every other mesh chair, the backrest does have hard edges, but again, it's not as obnoxiously wide, and so you're getting a good amount of padding before you run into the hard edge on this chair here. That's it for this one. Make sure you get subscribed, like, leave a comment. Please use my links if you decide to purchase a chair or donate to the channel. That really helps this channel so much. Until next time, stay honest.